Hello everyone and welcome to Throne Talk. If you're new here, this is the place where we dive into everything royal, news, traditions, and a little bit of tea about the British royal family. So if that's your thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started and trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming. Alright, let's get into today's topic because King Charles and Queen Camilla have been moving around more than a game of royal musical chairs, and I'm here to tell you all about it. So, here's the scoop. King Charles and Queen Camilla just wrapped up their Christmas celebrations at Sandringham in Norfolk. For those of you who don't know, Sandringham is like the royal family's go-to spot for Christmas. Imagine it as their version of a family cabin getaway, except, it's a massive estate. Anyway, instead of staying there until February like the late Queen Elizabeth used to do, Charles and Camilla decided to mix things up. They packed their bags and headed to Scotland, to Balmoral Castle. Now, Balmoral is another royal favorite. It's like their summer and winter retreat. Sandringham is the family cabin, Balmoral is like the luxury lodge in the Highlands. Here's a fun fact for you. Balmoral Castle was actually purchased by Queen Victoria and Prince Albert back in the 19th century. So, it's been in the family for a while and you can totally feel the history when you think about it. But back to Charles and Camilla. They're in Scotland right now, enjoying some rest and probably some cozy fireside evenings. I mean, can you blame them? January weather in the UK isn't exactly tropical, so a warm castle in the Highlands sounds pretty perfect. And here's where it gets interesting. Charles and Camilla's approach to this time of year is pretty different from how Queen Elizabeth handled it. Queen always stayed at Sandringham until February 6th, which was the anniversary of her father, King George VI's death. It was her way of honoring his memory, but Charles and Camilla are putting their own spin on things. It's kind of like when you take over a family tradition and add your own little twist, like turning Grandma's famous cookie recipe into a brownie. The essence is still there, but it's a bit more you. Now, Charles has a special connection to Scotland. He actually inherited a property there called Birk Hall from his grandmother, the Queen Mother, back in 2002. It's like his little slice of Scottish heaven. Plus, every summer, the royal family gathers at Balmoral for a bit of a vacation. Imagine the family barbecues they must have up there. Do you think they argue over who gets to flip the burgers, or is there a royal chef for that? Either way, it's nice to see them keeping that tradition alive. Oh, and here's something you might not know. Balmoral Castle is open to the public for tours. Yep, you can actually walk through parts of this historic castle. They even opened the interiors for tours last year and again this year. And surprise, surprise, the tickets for those tours sold out. People really love a good castle, don't they? But don't worry, if you miss the interior tours, the castle grounds, gardens, and exhibitions are open to visitors from April to August. So, if you've ever wanted to stroll where royals have strolled, mark your calendars. Now, let's not forget that Charles and Camilla aren't just kicking back and relaxing all the time. King has duties, and he'll be back in London soon to host 3 organizations at Buckingham Palace. These groups are all about educating people about the Holocaust, which is such an important topic, especially in today's world. It's nice to see Charles using his platform to shine a light on these issues. Speaking of Buckingham Palace, did you know it's currently undergoing a massive refurbishment? Like £369 million worth of refurbishment. That's a lot of zeros, folks. Apparently, there won't even be any state visits at the palace until 2027 because of all the work being done. Can you imagine trying to renovate a place with 775 rooms? It's like trying to repaint your living room but on an insanely larger scale. Anyway, it's all part of keeping these historic buildings standing for generations to come. So, to sum it all up, Charles and Camilla are taking a slightly different approach to royal life, blending tradition with their personal preferences. They've got Scotland, Sandringham, and Buckingham Palace all in the mix. It's a lot to juggle, but hey, they're royals, they've got this. And speaking of juggling, I'm still trying to balance making videos for you guys and keeping up with all this royal news. So, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Throne Talk. Your support means the world, especially as we're just starting out. Plus, you'll be the first to know about all the royal updates and maybe even catch a few more jokes along the way. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Throne Talk. Stay royal, my friends.